Well, it seems like you all really care about what is going on in Spokane in the long term and what changes are happening here in the area, positively or negatively, based on my last video. And there is a lot of updates going on that were just released today. So I want to get these to you because they're really going to affect where you choose to live here in Spokane, how they're going to affect your property values. And if you can take advantage of some of the decisions these major developers are making, it could really help you out in the long term. So let's jump right into it. So the first article here is real estate investors double down on downtown. There are 22 redevelopment and new construction projects going on right now that are going to be worth almost $250 million redevelopment dollars just in the downtown core itself. And so we're going to go through some of these, but really, I just actually got out of a conversation based on my video from last week on the Measure 1 that's going to be on the ballots here coming up. But basically how commercial property is even more impacted by levels of crime in Spokane, and the commercial investors are even more sensitive to what buildings are they buying? Are they attracting certain levels of crime or homelessness or anything like that? And so that's really been, some of these buildings that are being purchased are really in the key spots of downtown. And so one of the local investors bought a building right across the street from the Davenport. It's the Courtyard Office Center, located just across the street from the Davenport Hotel, which that building is really cool. The best late night food, Nito Burrito, is in that building. So if you are looking for food until 2 in the morning, they are the best, super fresh ingredients, incredible burritos there. Yeah, it's totally worth it. But moving on, there's plans for the Wharton building. That's where Thai on First used to be. That place shut down. That used to be one of the best Thai restaurants in Spokane, but no longer. But that building is being turned into 16 loft style apartments. And then the main floor will have some sort of restaurant or a coffee shop. And we're seeing this more and more. And I think it's good and bad. If we have high, like expensive apartments downtown, it's going to bring in a certain people that hopefully will lift up downtown. If there's more money in that area, it will hopefully lift up the economy of the area and things like that. That's the hope. But also we're looking at affordable housing versus non-affordable housing, paying affordable amount for rent versus luxury amount for rent kind of thing. So there's pros and cons to all of it. Obviously, renovations on these types of buildings lift up the area, but 16 loft style apartments, is it what we need? That's obviously definitely, there's a pros and cons to both of those things. But overall, any sort of improvement on a building downtown, whatever it is, I'm pretty excited about. So that's about a $3 million update right there. And then there's 4 other iconic buildings downtown that are being updated. So the Crescent Building remodel is converting offices on 5 of the building's 8 floors to 90 residential units, and the first 2 floors will remain mixed-use commercial. And so there's other parts of me that says, wow, the parking's already kind of tight downtown, and there's going to be a lot more people living down there. But I do think that the more people we can bring in that want to live downtown, that want to care for downtown, that will lift up the area. And this is right across the street from the plaza, the bus station, which there's a whole other campaign about how we need to completely tear out the bus station and either redo it in its spot or actually move it to a different location. That's a whole other video and a whole other argument. But with all of these plans, it's really exciting to see the transformation that downtown is going to be seeing here in the next 3, 5, 7 years. There are plans on file for the Fidelity building with almost $1 million in upgrades just to the electrical heating and ventilation systems, which means they haven't really announced what's going on in here. But if they're doing it that way, it sounds like it's going to be housing and apartments in that building. That's right next to Indaba downtown on Riverside, which is, I don't know, one of the more popular coffee shops in the area. And then there's the 7-story Peyton building, which is being switched over to residential housing as well, with some commercial space. And so there are going to be a lot of people moving into the downtown core. And so I'm just interested to see how parking works out. But again, I think having this livelihood, this life in downtown, I think is pretty exciting, because these places aren't going to be like crazy expensive, but they're also not going to be cheap. So it'll be an interesting thing to just kind of have so much available housing. But I think I've said it many times. I think that there's been so much building of apartments, specifically in the Spokane Valley and some of these larger buildings that all kind of look the same. And we've really hit this point in which we're starting to see rental prices come down because there's so much availability and all those things. And so I'm excited for some of these other articles that I'm about to show you about the commercial projects that are going on to actually provide more value to downtown Spokane versus just building. So we got all of these other buildings that will have some sort of residential housing in them. And then there's this list of 11 additional public and private things going on, including the one stadium that was just finished and a handful of other projects that are going on. But Dave Black, the CEO of the very popular brokerage NAI Black around here and in the Pacific Northwest, he says, as I had said, safety issues are a huge concern for commercial investors. However, they will always continue to seek real estate opportunities wherever deals are found. So they are still finding those deals in Spokane and seeking that opportunity. And so let's go check out some of those deals that people are recently finding. So the person that owns the Wonder building here in Spokane, which has been recently been redeveloped over the last handful of years, which is a really cool space, big, wide open area. I'm sure we have pop-ups on the screen here, but it's starting to get some momentum. We're getting more restaurants in there. They have farmers markets. I go there a lot with my fiance, and we just play ping pong for free for like an hour just to kill some time. So it's a really cool space, and I think it can be even better. But now he's looking at bringing in the, what does he call it? The Wonderground. So we had the Wonder building, and he just recently bought the building down the street at 815 North Lincoln, which is like kitty corner basically, and wants to tear that down and turn it into what's called the Wonderground, which would be a 12,800 square foot indoor facility. It would be a single story structure that will accommodate 6 pickleball courts. We need that in Spokane. Like literally more golf simulators. We do have a lot of those, but golf is very popular around here. Cafe bar facing Malin and a patio on the northeast corner of the lot, fronting Lincoln and Malin. I think so. Having something like this in that neighborhood is going to be so awesome to just have like a family friendly space that specifically because of the new stadium, there's going to be so many people just hanging out at the arena, at the podium, at the one stadium, at the Civic Theater. There's so much life going on there in that corner right now to have something that's more just the kids can hang out here before we go to the show or something, see Disney on Ice. I'm really excited for this kind of stuff. Since the Spokane Public Schools has built the one Spokane Stadium, or started building it 2 years ago, there's been $36 million in commercial real estate, including that site that has changed hands in Spokane because so many commercial real estate investors are feeling really excited and bullish about that neighborhood right there. We've got our professional soccer team starting up called what are we called? Spokane Velocity. And so I just think the estimated tourism revenue, everything for that little area is going to be so awesome because it already is really cool because you have like clinker daggers and like the flour mill has always been a really historical building here in Spokane. It's been fun to visit, but I just think being able to really push into that neighborhood and invest even more dollars is super exciting. And then there's rumor even that there's going to be like the tallest building in Spokane is going to be right over there as well here in the future. So lots of exciting stuff going on. But now let's jump over to Liberty Lake, where I've talked a few times about the Trutina development in Liberty Lake. And so that is going into its kind of final phases here in the next couple of years. They have just submitted their land use application for the next phase of development, which at Trutina, which is the 55 and older gated community in Liberty Lakes River District. And just as a reminder, Trutina is just the title for Greenstone's 55 plus community. So there's Trutina at the River District currently, but then that Mead, the community that they're going to be building in Mead, will also have a Trutina within that community as well. But Trutina out in the River District, once it's completed, will be have 400 one-story single-family homes and 200 to 300 multifamily units out there, and they all share the clubhouse and amenity package. It's going to be close to $100 million worth of development once it's all done, and they're looking at a completion of all the homes within 2025 to 2026 because they go pretty slow. They just release lots kind of one at a time. I'm actually waiting for one of the lots to come available here in the next 10 days for one of my clients for us to submit an offer. So if you want to get into the River District, there is still there's still some opportunity. They haven't released all of the lots yet, but you have to be kind of on it because they have predetermined which floor plans are going on which lots, and they know when they're coming available, and they go pretty fast too. So you just have to be ready to submit a competitive offer if you really want to live in that area. But also if you're kind of a longer ways out, you can keep an eye out for the Meadworks Trutina as well, if that's something you're interested in. But Trutina includes landscaping and snow removal services. It's kind of a resort style neighborhood, and the community has a lot of open space and green spaces, as well as walking trails. And River District specifically is connected to the Centennial Trail. And then they have the Riverside Lodge and the swim club, where it's fully staffed with an indoor pool, a spa, a fitness center, and all sorts of other cool stuff. So, and then that's just a portion of the River District master plan. And so as that comes to fruition, hopefully finishing up here in the next 3 to 5 years, they're building kind of their own downtown in the River District, where they have probably 15 to 20 buildings that they're going to be putting out there, and businesses like New Love Coffee, the Grain Shed, Versalia Pizza. They'll have a dentist, haircut, everything that you would really need for just a simple, you might still have to drive into Liberty Lake to get your groceries and stuff like that. But the majority of things you would need it will be in North Liberty Lake, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that one. Next up is just a little tidbit for you guys, but kind of cool. One of the oldest buildings in Spokane, the 1889 building, just changed hands. It is the oldest remaining building from the post-Great Spokane Fire era. And if you don't know, there was a Great Fire in Spokane that basically wiped out all of downtown Spokane, and they had to rebuild. Group of lawyers purchased it for their office. And if you're looking for office space, individual office space, just need a room for you and maybe an assistant or something, they'll be leasing out second floor individual offices up there, which I will be looking at for myself probably, because that's a cool building. Next up is the Plants Ferry. So if you haven't heard about that, Plants Ferry is a sports complex out in the Spokane Valley. Currently, it looks a little bit more like this. This is the satellite view, and this is pretty accurate. It has a lot, like they say in the article, it has a lot of topsoil. It's kind of dusty out there. It's not the best place. Like as a kid playing soccer, it wasn't your favorite place to play all the time. And so they're looking at doing a major upgrade out there, adding six soccer fields or mixed use fields that are actually turf based, and then another 8 or so that are actually grass, and then redoing the baseball, softball diamonds out there. And so they really just want to make it so that it is more fitting to modern needs. And they're going to make it so that over 900 cars could fit there, so that more games can be going on at one time. The cars don't have to park in all the neighborhoods to watch the games. And they want to make this a place where big like soccer competitions can be traveling into Spokane and actually competing in one place, like having more of that. Because we had one on the South Hill. We lost a decent chunk of it due to some them selling off some of it to housing development. And so it'd be nice to have one in the Spokane Valley as well. But this is going to look super nice. They're going to be tearing it up in 2 phases. And I think just being able to have this will be really beneficial to the neighborhood and to Spokane Valley in terms of sports tourism revenue and things like that. All right. And then lastly, we have touched on the ADU laws and the townhome laws that have changed here in Spokane and how you can build those more freely in the area. And so I wanted to show you an article of somebody that is actually taking advantage of that and what type of home you should be looking for if you want to take advantage of that. So there's a guy in the Perry district that owns a rental property that is actually going to be taking advantage of some of the ADU laws here in Spokane, the Spokane's building opportunity and choices for all ordinance. And so people are becoming a lot more confident with this. This wasn't really kickstarting anything for a while, but now that we know that it's going to be more of a permanent thing, people are starting to move. And so he has 1/3 of an acre of land at 1105 South Arthur here in Spokane, and he's going to be splitting it into 2 parcels. And this is what that property looks like, actually. So this is the house itself. He has this big chunk right here where he's going to put the ADU on this yard. And then if we go around the corner, he actually has 1/3 of an acre in the Perry district, which is pretty awesome. He got this for 2022. He bought this for like $357. You ain't going to find that again. But it would still be worth it in a lot of ways. So that he has this right here that he's going to put 3 townhomes on. And so he has so much space to just add 4 additional dwelling units in this neighborhood, which I think is super cool. And you can do this. Like if you find a property out there that fits your needs and you want to just sit on it for a little while, then do something like this. You have the opportunity to do that, and you can be a developer like with just buying your single family home. So I think there's a lot of incentive to do this. And there's even property tax exemptions for certain multifamily projects in exchange for providing workforce housing for people earning 80 to 100% or 120% of the median area income. So being able to look at opportunities that other investors are taking advantage of, whether it's looking downtown, what vacant building is not serving a purpose and what can we do with it? Or can I find a kind of rundown house on 1/3 of an acre in a neighborhood that I could add 4 additional units to plus the house, have 5 units on one property, but it still be a residential property. Things like that are what you should be keeping your eye out for here in Spokane. There's so much opportunity and so much good that can happen. We just need the right people to take some action and go for it. So I'm really excited about all these updates. It's really encouraging to see that investors are still putting their money where their mouth is here in Spokane, buying up properties and making them better, whether it's through affordable housing, through more luxury apartments, through building homes. Hopefully we will start seeing a little bit more of the house development. We just need a few more people building more master plan communities here in Spokane. And I'm hopeful that as more downtown starts to grow up a little bit, we'll start to see a little bit more of that, and maybe even get some new movers to some new builders to move in here in Spokane. So that's all I got for you today. If you have no idea who I am, I'm Haydn Halsted, your real estate resource here in Spokane, Washington. If you found this video helpful or insightful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm putting out videos every single week on Spokane. And if you're moving to the area or selling a home, you can use the link down below in the description to schedule a meeting on my calendar at a time that's convenient for you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.